First of all, you want to start out with a long Flash intro, like this one the Cheat made for me. Check it out, those are supposed to be my eyes, I think. That stands for my name. The web. That little rainbow thing's kinda cool. Oh, going through the town. Look out! Oh, you got punched! Oh, man! Right in the face!
Yeah, what's up, everybody? We got 10 people in here already. How's everyone doing?
My name is John. Flan's my co-host, and we are doing a very special Game of the Month club this month, where we are kind of paying homage to and saying goodbye to a platform that I was pretty involved with for a long time. I guess my middle years of teaching were pretty much as a Flash instructor. So not only did I get really involved with Flash, but I may have led people down the dark road of teaching them a bunch of skills that are no longer relevant in today's society. But I have a lot of nostalgia for Flash just the same. Yeah, Flan, how do you want to kick this off?
Yeah, I mean, my history with Flash is sort of a different, I got into it in a different period of my life where I was mostly in middle and high school and just playing games in the computer lab endlessly. So it's interesting hearing about it from the academic perspective of oh, I taught this tool versus just I don't know, that's just was my pastime. I think it's really cool because I think a lot of people's first exposures to realizing that games could be a creative outlet for them was to play Flash games and see oh, people are just making these, regular people, and you can kind of do whatever you want. So yeah, they hold a very big place in my heart for sure. So we wanted to open up an event where people could just talk about memories or specific games in Flash that they're really impassioned about. So that's what we got for you tonight. Everyone's going to be giving a short 10-ish or less minute talk about something that to do with Flash that really matters. So yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to say about it?
I don't know. Yeah, just intros, I guess. So I'm John. I'm going to talk about Fathom. After that, we have Lindsay talking about Line Rider. Andrew talking about GrowCube. I'm going to pronounce this wrong. Biana Khan talking about MCR. Oh, that person hasn't hopped in yet. Sam talking about Honky Dong. Tana's talking about Crimson Room. Charles is talking about some animation. Carl is going to talk about Polyphonic Spree. Yushin is going to talk about Haboon, which is a pirate Habbo hotel. Oliver, I can't actually read. Oh, Oliver is talking about Alice is Dead. And
Olivar.
Oh, sorry. Say it again.
Olivar.
Oh, my apologies.
You're good.
Olivar, and it's even spelled out so that I don't get it wrong, and I got it wrong. And Gavin is going to talk about squares. And so I'm going to start off with Fathom. Let's see, I'll bring this up.
Shout out to Adam Saltzman.
Shout out. Yeah, so I became acquainted with Fathom, I think, after I found out about Cannibalt, which is probably Adam's more famous game. And I was putting together an art show, and for whatever reason, it was an art show about games. Games being art was the main thing we were trying to prove. But whatever reason, the theme that sort of emerged was being dead. or dying and being dead. So probably one of the big games in it was Passage. We also had Train. We had Every Day the Same Dream. There's a lot of, it's sort of melancholy, this art show about games as art. But yeah, so of those, I think the reason I picked Fathom is it's not well known, and also I think it deals with the time after the platformer happens, the time after you fall down the pit. And I'll, without giving it too much away, I'll play and then I'll continue talking about it. And Flan, if I go over time, stop me, okay?
Cool, got it.
Yeah.
And time is 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, I think everybody's got 10 minutes, and I think my time starts at 7:40, so I'm just going to roll with it, and you can cut me off a minute early, and then if other people want that extra minute, they can have it.
Cool.
right.
Sounds good.
Oh, no. I'm the one without audio after all that. Sorry, what's that? Too loud?
Yeah, if you could use that Chrome extension maybe that we're using for some folks to turn it down. Yeah, it's definitely impossible.
Okay.
Blasting us.
Sorry,
Yeah.
everybody.
Maybe just mute the audio.
Yeah. I'll play it without sound for now. And I kind of, it took me a while to just even get this guy showing up in Chrome. But I'll talk over it. So Fathom sort of starts out like a very traditional platformer. You have things you can blow up. You have bolts to collect. And seems like you're this little robot guy. This game definitely has like some Mega Man or like Cave Story vibes. And then you get to this boss room, and you're sort of put against these insurmountable odds where this boss has like a ton of life. You're barely able to like chip it away. So you can try to survive as you sort of try to survive as long as you can, but eventually you are gonna run out of ground to stand on. Yeah, like I maybe got what, like a fifth or a sixth of his life down. And you end up getting knocked into this water. And instead of jumping and shooting, now you essentially have this shooting just makes bubbles. And I've got to quit Discord because it's making noise. And the other button just makes your flashlight come on.
Yeah, this has serious Cave Story vibes.
Yeah.
Someone said it looks like a Metroidvania in the chat.
And at this point, it sort of becomes unclear what you're supposed to do. The first time I played through this, I just spent tons of time here. I never really got out. But you can essentially just keep collecting fish. Every time you meet some fish, you touch them, and they start following you. So I sort of know what you're supposed to do, so I'll just kind of like work my way out. There's this little like, I don't know what it is exactly. It's like a little robot, a little electronic component that looks like a little green seed that you search for. I passed by it on purpose, but let's see if we can find it again.
Are we allowed to ask questions?
Yeah, totally. Talk to me.
Okay, I didn't know the etiquette about like going about this. I didn't want to be rude. So what? Forgive me if you said it already, but like, what? I noticed that there's more and more fish. Like, is that congruent to your score? Are they good? Are they bad? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah. So the fish are for fun, and it's one of those games where like
Fish are for fun, not for food.
Yeah, everything's kind of for fun. Like.
Yeah.
What was my score is kind of gone now. You're kind of existing in this world where you're not really alive anymore, but not quite dead yet either. So the more fish you meet, the more fish will follow you. But
nice.
It doesn't have any bearing on the game. So the way you progress is I picked up that little like electronic thing that looked like kind of an egg. That sort of acts like a seed, and there's a little area with some light shining down. It kind of gives me some sort of like some limbo vibes. And if I find that area, I think this is it.
Ooh.
Then I can drop the seed. The seed just drops automatically.
So it's just like doing a lot of like environment breaking and like breaking like expectations and boundaries, literally.
Yeah, exactly. And once you sort of drop that seed, it opens up some cracks that just let you go a lot deeper. There's, if you want to, if this was, I feel like if this was like a game on like Steam or Xbox or something, there'd probably be some fish achievement. But as it is, like for its time, it's just you can go get more fish just because you want to get more fish.
That's awesome.
Cool.
It kind of feels like when you're a kid and you're like playing a platform and you're like, God, I want to know what's underneath there. Or it's like, I want to know what's just beyond. And this game was kind of the answer to that.
Yeah. And, yeah, I feel the same way. It's like instead of just popping up, with a new life and starting over, you're sort of like put through this world that is like, I don't know, the equivalent of like video game purgatory.
Right.
So there's a little area in the bottom, very bottom, that opened that I'm going through right now, and this starts to feel like the area I died in. It could be it. I can't see very well with the flashlight, but I think this is basically where I died. And now there's this long shaft where the boss came down, and you sort of move towards the light.
And there's like infinite bubbles.
Yeah, that's just your propulsion system. So if I stop, I'll go back down.
Cool. So also playing with like physics and stuff too.
Yeah, so that's the end. I've reached inner peace, maybe. Left the mortal plane. So thank you for going with me on that journey. Sorry I failed in getting good audio levels out of my Chrome. The music is ambient, and there's just kind of like a psh when you finally like get to the surface. Also, when you start playing the game, the symbol is that seed thing, so it kind of gives you a hint of what to look for. And then after it, instead of it's a completely different title, we have like just a fish title, and that's it. So this is the game. I guess I want to don't really know what I'm saying here. Maybe I put it in the ground and put a flower on it and just kind of say goodbye to this. Have a little moment of silence, I guess, and say goodbye
Right.
to this game that's on a dead platform. About a main, like a platformer platform character themselves being dead. But yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Rest in peace, Fathom.
Yeah,
Rest in peace.
So
Yeah, it's cool. I like seeing that kind of like really short form storytelling that Flash games will sometimes do. Yeah, hopefully the format will survive.
yeah, I think Flash is perfect for these like bite-sized moments.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's my 10 minutes. So I'm gonna pass the mic to Lindsay, and we'll be treated with some Line Rider.
Hello. Can everyone hear me?
Hi, hello.
Hi, hello. Yeah, I'm going to talk about Line Rider. A little bit, I guess, of backstory if we're all sharing our history of. Hold on one second. There we go. Nope, I don't want to share the Twitch stream. That would be, everyone would explode. There we go. Sorry. Okay. So my history of Flash is my parents didn't get internet, like high-speed internet in my house until like 2009 when I was a senior in high school. So I was pretty late to the Flash game. I didn't play a whole lot of Flash games, but this one in particular, Line Rider, I played a bit of. It's basically just you got this little guy on a sled and you draw lines and then he'll ride on the lines. So I spent a little bit of time making a little bit of a track just today. And this game is I'll draw another line. Now he's gonna go up. Whee!
Yay, more physics.
And we could go up again. He's probably gonna fall off. Yeah, he fell off.
I love that loop. Like I've been trying to. I remember being able to do loops when I was a kid. When I was a kid in grad school, and I tried to do it on Line Rider recently, and I couldn't make my loop line up right.
Oh yeah, I was watching the stream where y'all went through a lot of Flash games, and I wanted to yell, but I was watching a recording, and I was like, you can do undo. It's just Command Z or Control Z or whatever it is. So let me go back to where I was. Here we go. That's where he failed. So I'll just delete that line. It's gone. And then there's another command to redo, but I don't remember what it is. Anyways, but yeah, you can. It's a lot more. I should say. It has a lot more features than it used to back in like 2009 when I played this game. Because you can like pan through the whole thing. You can like go backwards. You can play it from the beginning, or I guess you press stop and then you can play it from the beginning, and then he'll just go through all the lines again. I remember you could save back in 2009, which you can also do here. I'm not sure where everyone's save states went, somewhere in the internet. But I think it was kind of unique for a Flash game to like actually save a state. I don't know if are many other games that did that. Usually you would start from the beginning every time you loaded it. But anyway, that is Line Rider. It's super fun, a great way to waste a lot of time if you have other responsibilities and you don't want to do them. I certainly did a lot of that. And what was I going to say? Oh, you can also have like more than one rider now, I think. Yeah, we can have up to 3. And so there's a blue one and a red one now.
You're blowing my
They'll
mind.
both go through. The green guy fell off.
Oh,
But
no.
his sled's still going. I remember what I was going to say. This game has been ported to, I think, Microsoft Silverlight. So it will live on. It is no longer Flash, but I'm sharing it because it used to be Flash back when I played it. And the about is pretty limited. It's version 1827.0, so they've been working on it for a while. And it's developed by a company called Emergent Studios, and their website is so very descriptive. We make sandbox games.
Ah, yes.
Yes, very good. So I have a couple of videos to share. I actually have a video that I found in my Facebook archives that is from 2009, and I think JP, you're blocking the. Actually, I'm on the stream, so I can do this. But in my comment, I said I worked very hard on this instead of doing my homework, so you should watch it. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Here we go.
Oh yeah. Good stuff.
That was amazing.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That was
so
sick.
cool.
That was
I
awesome.
love those. I love those turnarounds where you like sort of use it to just have it sort of run up a slope and then
Yeah, you
change
can-
direction.
You can go up one way, and then you can use the same line to go another way. Well, if you think that was amazing, I found recently a YouTuber who does these really complicated line riders. I think it's like a recent YouTube channel. He makes these complete like line rider courses to classical music, and this one is Can. And so we can unlock the full potential of Line Rider with this video. Are you ready? I don't know if you're ready, but I'm going to play it anyway. Here we go.
Oh wow!
Bravo.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow, indeed.
That was amazing.
Absolute mad lad.
It's pretty incredible. Yeah, he has a lot of YouTube videos of just Line Rider content, and it's amazing. And so probably after this stream, I'm gonna go watch all of them. And that's my time.
Nice.
Thanks,
Thank
Lindsay.
you.
All right, Andrew.
I love Line Rider. So creative, and it is a sandbox game. You can kind of decide what you want to make, and the music added together takes it to another level. All right. Well, yeah. So I want to share. I loved Flash so much. Flash was just a huge part of my life. I was into Photoshop for a while, and then someone introduced me to Flash and was like, "You can move graphics around," and I was just like, "Oh, this is great." And I was living in Maryland at the time, and there was like a user group. Macromedia, the company that owned Flash at the time, had these user groups. And a user group, these groups, you'd meet up once a month, and like it was all like people that really liked the program. So they all used Flash, and we would show off all the stuff we knew about Flash, and but I loved it so much. So then at my college, because I was going to this user group, I was like, I want to start my own user group at my college. So for a while, I started this group called Flash Friends, and we would meet once a month to talk about. We try to teach them Flash, and this is Flash Friends. It's now defunct, but we would help people with that. But we also would review our favorite Flash games, and one of the Flash games that I really liked was the one I want to share with you guys today. And this game is called GrowCube. So GrowCube is made by a company called, or a person named iMaze. iMaze is the name of the developer. And this is a Japanese developer. And let's take a look at their game. So this game here is kind of a puzzle game, a little bit of a charming puzzle game, GrowCube. And essentially the way we play it is we just pick out which one of these choices we want to choose first. So let me turn the music on. Can you guys hear the music? Nope.
Yeah.
Oh, you're hearing it? Okay. Okay, awesome. Cool.
Yes.
We had a lot of music preparation before this. All right. So here's how we play, guys. So these little things on the side, these are the choices that we get to make. And based on our choices, this cube is going to grow. But we have to pick, depending on the order we choose, the cube is going to grow in slightly different ways. So it's a little bit of unknown what's going to happen. So what should we do? What should we pick? We got a bone. It's like a lake.
I want that ball
A rubber ball.
and fire.
Some kind of bowl. Maybe a fire. We also got these I don't know what those are, like little candies. There's like a person in this world, and a spring, this glass tube, and finally this pot. So what do we think? What do we want to do?
Ball of fire.
You're gonna go fire first? Is that what we want to do?
Ball first, then fire.
Let's see. Anyone in the Discord? All right. Okay, they're not there. Okay. So we're gonna do fire first.
Ball first.
Ball first.
But I think I kind of want some spring action as well. It can be in any order.
All right. Let's see. Switch. They're not saying. They're not recommending. Okay, so we're gonna do the ball. Okay, the ball. Let's do it. Okay. I don't know if that was it. Okay. What are we gonna choose next? What's next?
Oh, so they go away after you use them?
Well, it depends on the order. So it's kind of a puzzles. So let's see. So maybe if we're trying to build a
Cup? Can we do cup and then put water in the cup or something?
okay, we can try the cup, yeah. Because if we're trying to build a civilization, which one of these tools might be good to start with? So we'll try the cup. All right.
Maybe fire then.
So should we do fire, or should we go with JT's idea of the water here?
Maybe water.
Okay, let's see. I feel like maybe for building a society, we might need some water.
Oh, we leveled up.
Oh, looks like we leveled up our pot. Okay.
Cup got leveled up.
Yeah. It's like
I didn't realize how big this cube is. It's very big.
All right, what should we do now? We got this glass tube, a spring.
are those toys in the lower left? I don't even know those shapes.
All right, let's go with these candies. Let's see what they do. All right. So we got these little candies. Our pot leveled up. All right. Let's see. Is anyone on?
There's someone said just click all the buttons.
They're just saying click all the buttons. We got to be strategic. We have to be. How about this bowl? How do you guys feel about this bowl here?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel confident about the bowl.
The civilization depends on our choices. We've got to choose.
Should we introduce a person?
Oh yeah, good idea. Nice. Yeah, if we got a civilization, we need entities in there.
Live in a society. All right.
I think we're. Let's see. All right, let's try. I'm gonna try this glass one here.
Okay.
Oh, this guy's digging. Looks like we leveled up our lake. And so we only got 3 more choices left. Maybe we'll try the fire. That was an early one we were thinking about doing. Oh, now like the guy split in 2, and now they're running around doing some work. Well, our world is now we got grass everywhere. Oops. So it looks like we just leveled up the world. So now the music's going, and like you're getting rewarded by this world starting to change. So we only have 2 more choices. What should we do? Bone or spring first?
Bone.
Do the bone. Okay. Oh, looks like it stuck the bone down there. Well, it looks like those little candies might have been seeds, and now our thing's turned into like a spaceship. Now I got 3 of these little guys, and they're starting to dig into the ground. All right. Well, we only got 1 more choice, so we'll see what this one does. Oh. The bone turned into a dinosaur head. And there we go. So this is our score. So based on our choices, this is how far we were able to level up the Grow Cube. So it looks like we did get one of the things to max. We got our bowl. I guess level 5 is the max. So some things we weren't able to level up, like the ball, that just bounced away. So we weren't able to get that integrated into our world. But this game is pretty neat. So if we were to play again, we could choose different choices, and the world would grow in different ways. And the challenge is to kind of choose the right ones to get everything maxed out. So it's kind of this little charming puzzle, and you're not sure what's going to happen. And to see these little characters like do these things, you're like, what are they doing? They're digging a hole, or they've got a fireplace here. So this game was made by iMaze, and so this was one of the first games in the Grow series, but they ended up making about 20 of these games that all have like this growing theme. So sometimes it'll be like you grow a planet, or you grow like a forest, or just like different ideas. But the only thing that's sad about this is that about 2 years ago, the guy's a Japanese guy. I think he's like in his 40s or something now, but he was like really broke, and he had to do a Kickstarter because he needed to get heart surgery. And he was like, he's like, I'm not strong enough to work anymore. Like, I can't make any more Grow games. So he did a Kickstarter for like $30,000 to get heart surgery. And he was really nervous about it and like really depressed. But he was able to get the heart surgery, and now he is making more Grow games. So he says, when I had heart surgery last summer, my heart was once stopped. Considering my heart, I think I died once. The surgery was successful, though. My heart has restarted, and I'm reborn. Since that summer came again, I was 1 year old when I was reborn. Happy birthday, 1 year old. So he's very happy that he's still alive and he can still make these Grow games. So it's a happy story. Hopefully he can still continue to make them. But if you thought that was an interesting game, definitely check out some of the other Grow games on iMaze because they're super charming and they're a lot of fun.
I feel like I could get lost playing those for hours.
Yeah. Nice. Super cool. I'm definitely gonna like go play Grow Cube after this and try and figure out like the optimal order of all the objects. Cool. So who do we have up next?
Well, the person we have next is the one person that didn't show up, I think.
Oh, gotcha. Well, if you're out there watching, you can still join the Zoom. It's not too late. But
of course it's not too late. We could always maybe jump ahead one, and then whenever they're ready, they can just slip in.
Yeah, that sounds good.
See if you can reach him. So, Sam, that would put you next. Are you ready? Even though we're up a slot.
I am ready.
Okay. You have the floor. Conky
All right. My name is Sam. I'm a game developer. Flash is kind of where I started making games, and this is a game I made for Ludum Dare. It's made in this engine called Flixel, which is a Flash engine, which Fathom, that first game that JB showed, was actually made in Flixel, and made by the person that made that game also made that engine. But this is kind of the first game I made by myself for like a game jam. Flash is very important to me because it was like basically my start of game development. I took like a Flash course in college where I learned like really basic action script, and then I discovered Flixel, which allowed you to make games really easily because it had all this stuff set up for you already, like collision. To talk about this game, it's basically, Donkey Kong, but you're playing as Donkey Kong instead of the Italian plumbers, and you're basically trying to make sure they don't get to Daisy at the top. So it's kind of like a reverse tower defense. I think the theme of that Ludum Dare was like you are the villain, so it was like a very simple concept I came up with. But yeah, I was able to make something like this in like 3 days, which is really amazing and empowering. And I think the first thing I made in Flash was like I drew a little avatar of myself and I gave myself a walking animation. And once I learned about this function called like enter frame or something, which is basically a function that runs continuously, like it loops. So you can make constant motion. And I just made my little avatar guy walk, and it was like, I don't know, that was my first like taste of game dev bliss goodness, where I was like, oh, can I swear on here? Is that okay?
I think so. I think that's fine.
I was like, holy shit, this is amazing.
The written dialogue really gets me.
Yeah, the little plumbers say stuff when they get hit. And what was really nice about Flixel is it had all this built-in stuff, like the screen shake, and the movement, and this whole like tile map loading made stuff super easy. So the goal of the game is to eliminate. Oh, I might lose here. That's not good. I'm gonna save it. Oh, I need another barrel. I lost.
Oh no. I like how close the music is too. Like it's like almost the regular Donkey Kong music. Like you can hear.
Yeah, I did the music as well, and it's like a cover / remix. At the time, I used Little Sound DJ, which is like a program you would play on your Game Boy, and a lot of people would use for like live shows. I remember in New York specifically, there's like a big LSDJ scene. But yeah, I'm sad Flash is going away because it was such a huge impact on me and a lot of my peers. shout out to like people like Adam Saltzman and Nina Freeman, who also worked in Flixel. One Mr. Bean, big Flash game developer. And other like big names like Edmund McMillan and Tyler Galel. They really started their games in Flash, and it's sad to see kind of like this tool that was used to express so many ideas kind of fade away. I just feel like it's a huge part of game dev history.
I feel like I'm grateful we still have free engines like Unity and Unreal, but it's a really different beast. Like Flash, you sort of can sit down. It's familiar in a way, especially if you've used like Photoshop or something. Like you can start messing around and kind of get something to do something. And it took me a really long time to learn Unity. Every time I just sit down and look at it, it's like I don't even know what to start. I don't know. I can't just click things and have something happen.
Yeah, it definitely felt more like a toy than like a proper program. And I think with Flash you could also make animations, and I grew up on like sites like Newgrounds and stuff like that. So it was just like a really versatile tool that allowed people to do a lot. And I think another thing is like the aesthetic of Flash was kind of this grimy internet rainbow gradient vomit, but that was like cool. It was fine. And now sometimes when I see a lot of indie games, everything's kind of got this sheen over it, and it's kind of missing that weird kind of rough edge to it. Another aspect of this game is you have to dodge the barrels as they fall because they will stun you and they'll break, so you can't use them. That's game design, baby.
I also really liked the fact that things like Newgrounds existed as portals. That for me, like as someone that was tasked with teaching people programming, the fact that they're playing games on Newgrounds and then realized they could make something like that, like something small, short, and it was like achievable.
Yeah.
Like really kind of gave my students like this kind of intrinsic like motivation to try to tackle it. It's like a smaller bite that you could see yourself getting to,
And even with Flixel, I was able to make like a really simple 2-player mode. So in this mode, there's like one player that's playing as quote unquote Red Plumber, and the other player is Honky Donk. And you're just trying to eliminate the red player as Honky Donk, and as the plumber you're trying to get to the top.
If you're doing a 2-player and one person's Mario, can they jump, or they just can avoid?
Yes, they can. Forgot about that part. I forgot Mario can jump. Yeah, I think I tried to mimic the Donkey Kong kind of jump, where like you have the like stationary jump, and then if you have like momentum, you do more of a horizontal jump.
That's like a better jump than I think you got in the actual Donkey Kong.
Yeah, definitely. Another weird fact about this game is I used to have my phone number on my website, which I don't recommend doing. And one day someone called me and they were just like, "Hey, can I use the name Conky Dong for a thing?" And I was like, "Sure." Okay. And that was the whole conversation.
I asked for permission.
Did you ever find out what it was for?
No.
Oh.
It was definitely some team. This game was also like my first taste of like other people playing my games. Like I think you guys had this daily ranking system and ratings, and you could see how many people played your game. I think I got like featured on the front page that day, which is really cool.
Yeah, getting featured on Newgrounds was a big deal. Tons of people see your game. That's how everyone like learned about the best content coming out of there.
Yeah, I think Flash games were super easy to share because this was before like smartphones, right? So you can't just be like, oh, check out the game on your phone. But people were still playing games on the web.
Small web format, the Swift. Super small, easy to share.
Yeah, I think eventually Flixel, someone made like a C# or C++ version called Axel. I never ended up using that, but it was just like a really great engine. There's probably a bunch of games that you've played that have actually been made in Flixel. I know Sybil is one of them by Nina Freeman, and I want to say something by Tyler Galale is also on Flixel.
So, Sam, are you still a game developer? Are you still making games?
Oh yeah, I still do it. I should probably mention that part. Yeah, I do like contract stuff, but I work on just like a bunch of stuff. My first job actually was because I knew Flash. I was a UI intern on a game called Pirate 101, like a pirate MMO for kids. And now I've done stuff in VR, and I use GameMaker and Unity. So yeah, really, this game was kind of like humble beginnings for me. So thank you for letting me share it. And
thank you.
Yeah, long live Flash.
That is awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I love this, the winning screen too. Just the bodies of 1,000 Marios and Luigi's crushed beneath you.
It's very good. Also, the style is awesome. Like, I would probably prefer to play something that's like in this style as opposed to regular, like old school Mario. I know that's sacrilege, but it just appeals to so many of my sensibilities. It's just cute.
Thank you.
And I like cute things.
Yeah, it's very good.
And funny. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. Who do we have slated next? I'm also seeing in Discord, I think Lee is saying Jason Scott of the Internet Archive might want to join the talk. I don't know if that's so. If so, we can. We do have the open spot, so we can invite him to the Zoom.
We've got an open slot and we got a break. So yeah, anybody who wants to talk for 10 minutes.
Is he going to share all the flashes?
Yeah.
Flash game.
Did we document like all the flashes ever?
Oh, all the different versions of Flash. Yeah.
All the different versions of Flash. When I wonder when the last Flash
this
was.
version, and then there's that version.
Oh yeah, they're behind you.
Was Flash 8 the last one?
That one's my favorite version.
2008?
I don't know.
So if Tanis is ready, we could have them do Crimson Room. If not, we can take a little break. Initially, we were going to have our buddy Samo maybe do a little intermission, but they're not available, so we can stretch it. Then I guess whenever Tanis is ready, Tanis can go.
Cool. I'm just copying over that email from Twitch.
And if there's questions on the stream, we can just chat for a bit. And Charles, how's your animation coming up? Animation bits coming along. Charles might not be here.
Great. It's going great.
It's going great. Okay.
Yeah, if people have questions from the Twitch, just type them in chat. and I can ask them to a specific person here or just to the group. Yeah.
I have a question for the chat. What What is your favorite Flash?
Favorite Flash game?
And is everyone sharing? Are they showing off their favorite games, or are these kind of select games that?
I think I'm showing my favorite one.
Nice.
Probably, yeah. So it would be Alice is Dead. There's probably other ones that are platformers that I'm forgetting about, but I remember that this was like formative to me, so I'm showing this one. So.
Someone said Motherload. Anyone play that?
I don't know Motherload.
Oh wait, Motherload. That's the one where you got to dig down into the ground. That one was you got to dig down in the ground and then bring the gems up.
Somebody mentioned. Sorry.
Yeah, Carl.
Somebody mentioned Robot Unicorn Attack, which yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had the highest score out of all my friends, and I would vehemently defend my title. If there was a day where someone decided to have a higher score than me, I would just spend the rest of my day on the computer making sure that I beat their score. It was dark times, but it was fun.
Oh no, same. Also, for some reason, I was better at the metal version than the sparkly version.
Oh, interesting.
I aesthetically like the sparkly version better, despite all this stuff. But I don't. Maybe it's because I liked it. I was too distracted by everything. It was like an ADHD thing where I was like.
It definitely. Yeah, I feel like it took a minute whenever I played a new skin of it, because there was the Christmas one as well as the heavy metal one, and every time I played it with new art, I would have to kind of relearn the timing of stuff. Because if the stars are just slightly different sizes, then you have to really change everything about when you're hitting the dash through them. It's very
also
very
just 100%. I don't know what it was about the metal game, but I was able to get my rhythm the best with that one, and I wasn't too distracted by everything. Also, just a handful of Neopets games, just Neopets games.
Yeah.
All those Flash games were so much fun to me.
The whole Neopets arcade. What are you gonna say?
Sorry, somebody mentioned aggressive alpine skiing. Then yeah, that's another big one.
Well, the Robot Unicorn Attack. Quick story. So the designer on that, they had done a lot of games for Adult Swim, and Adult Swim games were well known for being super violent and bloody and kind of extreme. But this developer, they were Mormon, and they didn't really feel comfortable doing all the violent games, so they wanted to do something that was not so violent. And then the developer, they really liked that song by Erasure, the something about you, or I forget the name of the song.
Yeah,
but
always.
Always. They love that. They love that song. Yeah, by Erasure. And so this developer, they really wanted to use that song, and then they didn't want it to be violent. So. This developer he's like, if we can, well, first he wanted to focus on the animation of the horse. I think he spent a weekend doing the animation. It was I just want it to be all about this movement of the horse running, and then they got that kind of unicorn vibe. But then he persuaded Adult Swim to let them use the Erasure song, and I think they paid a lot to get the song. But so it was all about that horse motion and that song, and then it just snapped together and kind of went super viral. But after that game came out, Adult Swim wanted all their games to be exactly like Robot Unicorn Attack because it did so well. So it actually stopped them being creative in other ways because they were we want everything to be like Robot Unicorn Attack. But great game.
Yeah, that song really did just bring the game together. It was perfect.
Yeah, it would not have been. It needed that. That song is the linchpin of that game.
You can't think of Robot Unicorn Attack and not think of Always I Wanna Be With You.
I wanna be with you.
It's so good.
We're gonna have our Twitch stream muted.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a very triumphant song.
It really is.
Hey, Tanis. So we're basically one slide ahead because one person we're kind of just waiting on. We'll just kind of pop them in whenever. So if you're ready to go, you can have the floor.
Great, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Cool.
So let me screen share.
Hi, Tanis.
Hi, I'm going to be playing Crimson Room. I hope this shows up as big enough because it was very hard to find an actual working link to this game. So this, I'm not sure if it's the first escape room type game, but it's kind of widely considered to be like one of the kind of first really good examples of an escape the room game. My entire teenage years were just going on addicting games on Newgrounds and playing escape the room games. That was like what I did in my free time. I apologize, this might come through. It has a very repetitive kind of jarring sound effect, so just be wary of that. And I'm gonna start. Drank too much last night. I thought what time it was now. I felt thirst of the throat. This was not written in English, as you could tell. The bed was different from usual. Is this a hotel? No, it does not seem to be a hotel. I am shut up. I have to escape. So, as kind of the genre sounds, the aim is to escape the room. You can go through, and there are different areas. This one is actually it's a lot shorter than I remember it being. It's very simple, and it kind of sets a lot of tropes that you see in escape games. So we're going to go over here. We're going to find this ring. Take that. Find the CD here. So you can see we have a CD player, a stale CD player. And, oh, nope, it's empty. No good. We got tricked. So we're going to keep going. Opening the drawers. And the website, this shows, if you type this in, it's a URL to a code we'll need later, but it's defunct. So I just know the code offhand, so I'm just going to use that. But I always found it really interesting. You have to like open a new window and go search and find the code outside of the game. I thought that was really cool. Then there's something, a cassette tape. One of the worst drawbacks I find in this game is it can be really hard to click on specifically what you need to click on at times. Also, you can't zoom in on this picture, which is a bummer because it looks really interesting. But I'm going to take the silver key and keep clicking. Oh, something fell. A lot of escape games I've seen have you do a certain action over and over to produce a different result. So you kind of have to like go around clicking things different times to find everything you need. Another key. That's another trope, is that there's going to be a bazillion keys that'll open different things. So there is no strange thing. Yeah, that's what I was talking about with needing to click very specific places. We found a metal stick. And now this is another thing is I've played this game since I was a kid, but if you don't know where this specific part is, you're probably not going to guess it. You have to click very specifically down there and find the battery.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a lot of gathering objects and figuring out how they go together. No, that key does not fit. So we're going to try that one. Get the power cable. Connect the power cable. Turn that on. Found another key. And I was I was 12 years old when I first played this, so I was really interested in the fact that, like, oh, it makes you think there's a CD that you have to open, but it's really not. Oh, it's so clever. All right. the small
Game
box.
time.
Yep.
If anybody knows more about this than I do, correct me. I'm just curious. Like, was this a case where the escape room genre was a real life game genre that came out of a video game genre? Like,
I believe so. I know at least when I was playing these games on the internet, there were no physical escape rooms you could go to and play in space. And that's something I haven't done yet, but I really want to.
Yeah, I think I mean, this is also just based off experience, but yeah, I played a lot of escape room games, and that were also all Flash before I ever saw anything in real life. And I think it's like a direct sort of descendant, but it also could be that people came up with IRL escape rooms just like without having seen the digital ones first. But I kind of imagine they played the ones online. It was interesting to see them just sort of pop up as this sort of like very like established kind of like, oh, we're gonna like present you this professional experience, where it used to just be like Flash games.
I find it really funny. I've heard stories about people playing physical escape room games, and the staff members running them have to keep them from breaking everything. So I feel like there's going to be a key in whatever random spot you can get to if you tear apart the room.
Oh my god.
That always really amuses me. Anyway, so we're almost at the end here. So we have these objects here. I wonder where these go. Oh. This is my favorite part of the game right here. Let's just watch. Dancing man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, he's just vibing. He's doing good. He's enjoying himself.
At least this room is now a vibe.
Yeah.
If you can't escape, at least you can vibe.
I'm imagining the designer just being to his friend, like, just do whatever, and he'll give you that little cross right there.
I'm wondering if this is inspired by like those iPod videos of this time.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Wait.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's this little spot you have to click on. Let me see if I can do it. Come on. There we go. Okay. I played this through earlier, and I had to do that like 5 times because I kept missing it, and I was like, I really don't want to have to do that on the stream.
You had to click that little invisible thing?
Because if you don't click it right the first time, you have to watch the whole video over again. So yeah, that's a design flaw. And usually you, as I said, you had to put the code in from the note you got, but I just know the code from looking it up. So this is it's 1994. And then we're going to put the key in. Let me open the safe. I'm going to grab the screwdriver. Hurrah! We won.
Huh.
And I remember, this is unfortunately, the website is no longer working, but as a kid, at the end of it, it would show a sign or a display that said, "You beat the Crimson Room," and you could buy a shirt that said that on it. Oh. I was looking earlier, and I was like, "Oh, I really hope that's still a thing, because I want one really bad," but no.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah.
We gotta find it.
Yeah, you can send, you used to be able to send them an email where they'd add your name to a list of the people who beat the Crimson Room.
Things used to be a little bit more interactive.
I love the idea that that's how the leaderboard works, is you just email the developer and say, "Hey, I beat your game." Yeah,
it's totally the honor system.
It's so, but it's so much more personal too. Like,
yeah. I think I'm going to save this, and maybe I'll, I don't know if I'd have to get permission from someone to put in the Baby Castles email, but maybe we could do that. That'd be fun. Okay.
I really love the art style of this too. Sorry, go ahead.
It's very, I was showing it to my spouse yesterday, and they were very into the whole pseudo 3D aspect of it.
Yeah. Well, it almost looks like, it almost reminds me of like the old MacVenture titles at first, and then it's sort of like, oh wait, this is 3D. Like, you're not just clicking around on images, like, oh, you can drag and you're in space. Like, But it definitely does feel like if you've ever played like Deja Vu or Shadowgate or any of those old MacVenture titles, they are very sort of like, there are games where sort of like you wake up stuck in a room and you have to figure your way out, but then sort of like other stuff, it goes on from there. Like, yeah, but those are all just like 2D, like, 2D little Mac games with like static artwork.
I had a really hard time choosing the specific game because there are so many Escape Flash games that I really love. But this was like the one I remember as being the one that kind of started it all.
Were a lot of the Escape the Room games on addictedgames.com?
Yeah, Addicting Games and Newgrounds. There was one site that I really liked back in the day called Jay's Games that had what they call a weekly escape, where they'd have a whole list of like escape games to be featured every week. They're actually still doing that. I thought they closed down, but no, they're still up doing that.
I remember Jay's Games.
Yeah.
They're great. They did extensive reviews and really quality titles. Actually, I don't know if anyone knows Anya Combs, who's in the New York scene. She's now at Kickstarter. She does the game division, but I think so. She said she actually used to work at Addicted Games, and her job was to like find all the Escape the Room developers and then talk to them and say like, hey, like keep working on your Escape the Room game. We really want to get it on addictivegames.com. So she would encourage them to do sequels, because I think there were a lot of like maybe like Room 1 and Room 2. But,
yeah, definitely. I remember some that had like 7 or 8 sequels. It's taking me back.
I like all the colors and stuff like that. It's pretty interesting that it's an escape room, but it's not spooky. Because when I hear escape room, I kind of think of an element of like spooky, supernatural sci-fi. Like, something is
like you're in trouble.
Yeah, it feels more just like your friend wanted to make a clever puzzle for you, rather than like you're really like trapped per se.
Yeah. Like you woke up after a party, they locked you in their bedroom, and we're like, oh.
So yeah, because like the text in the beginning like makes it like it seems kind of ominous, and then you're like, oh wait, this is like chill. I could like actually hang out here for a bit.
It's funny to have a screwdriver in a safe, and that safe be really hard to get to. Like, it makes it seem like the screwdriver itself is incredibly valuable, and you just haven't really unlocked the secrets of the screwdriver.
Also, please do not actually attempt to store a key in the tray of your desktop, of your like component stereo CD player. You will break it.
Very good point.
So yeah, welcome, Jason Scott. I don't know if you had like a particular talk that you wanted to do, or if you wanted to maybe like sit in the Zoom for a minute and prepare something for later in the series. But yeah, thanks for joining.
My problem has never been speaking. It's always a matter of trying to keep it so that other people don't feel like all the oxygen has been taken. So I'll focus on doing that. You're all aware of the Archives Flash initiative.
The people in Twitchland might not be. Do you want to share?
Sure.
I was going to say TV Land, but
So I work for the Internet Archive, which some people know as the Wayback Machine, but it's also archive.org. And I am the software curator of the Internet Archive, along with the free range archivist. So I'm a very loud person talking about a lot of very strange things being stored there. And back in 2011, when I was hired, Brewster said, and Brewster was the founder of the archive, and he said, Jason, you can play movies at the archive, and you can play songs, and you can read books, but we have all this software, and all it does is sit there dead. It's just a bunch of zip files, ISO files, exe files. It would be really great if we came up with a system where you could play it just like you play a movie or you play a thing. And he proposed one solution, and I proposed another. His was easy, mine was hard, but mine scaled better, which was to have JavaScript emulators that would play old software in your browser. And so we started out with console games, then we moved to like MS-DOS and arcade machines and electronic handheld games. So we built this whole system. You could play software in it. And over the years since then, we have added occasionally something new. And when we do, the same things happen, which I'll go into. The same things happen over and over again. And so as we did hypercard stacks and, like I said, handheld games, plastic games and everything else, stuff would go on. And this year, a couple years ago, I had been looking at some potential emulator for Flash because I knew about its impending death. And there had been about 5 different attempts to make an emulator of Flash, and they'd all died for different reasons. And then finally this year, we saw an emulator that we were like, this has at least got enough in the tank that it'll probably at least be able to do a relatively decent job. And it's named Ruffle. And it's being done by one of the lead developers of Minecraft and a guy in the US named Mike, and then a few others. And they've already transferred it to a nonprofit. They already have all the code out, and it already does about 70% of what, for people's purposes here, is 2004 and before Flash. So it's pretty good. So we put it on the archive just before Thanksgiving, and we announced it way before it was ready. And it made a lot of press because, as you've all figured out, the impending death of Flash, which they announced 3 years ago, has suddenly woken everybody up because 2020 was very distracting. And now they're turning around going, and what other priorities are in my life? Oh, Flash. Oh, no, Flash is going away. So here we are, and people are doing their thing. So as of this moment, we have 2,000 Flash animations, games, toys, screensavers up on the archive. I expect it to be probably at least 25,000 by the time we're done. And so it'll be, a huge variety of them. I'm trying to do QA checking, which is what's slowing things down. I don't want to put anything up that doesn't work. And we already have terabytes of it. Also, if people don't know about it, there's a parallel project called Flashpoint. And Flashpoint has 426 gigabytes of Flash, Director, Early Flash, and so on. And they're more like we're going to put a virtual machine on your box that's going to run Flash very well because it's running Flash. So there are these 2 parallel projects, and we know about each other, although we are informed 30 to 50 times a day by people who think that we don't know about each other. So that's been going on. So anyway, now we're in the world where if you go to archive.org and you type in software library Flash, you can see 2,000 games and programs and so on. And when we announced it, it made a lot of noise. But what usually happens is people go, well, this is my least favorite thing people do. They go, well, call me when they have blank. It's where they pull out their nostalgia wang and say, hey, nobody's going to remember Jelly Bean Rally. And I'm like, we got 30 versions of Jelly Bean Rally. You don't even know. And they do it over and over again. Everyone's got to prove their cred. But the whole point of Flash was that it was so ubiquitous. I'm very old, but I watched kind of Flash's era. And for as you guys are proving, a generation of children, Flash is their console because it's the console that's free and there's no time limit. And you can always sneak it around teachers and parental restrictions. So even if it's don't go to any of these locations, your friends can give you a little thumb drive and you can just boot up off the Flash on the thumb drive. I'm watching all these stories go by. So, there's a Ruffle Discord, and it's very funny because it's got Tom Fulp of Newgrounds. We're talking with the Brothers Chaps of Homestar Runner. We've got, other quote-unquote celebrities. And so it's funny because we're all sitting around, and Newgrounds has already started converting to Ruffle. So Newgrounds will live. Albino Black Sheep will probably live. There's one Flash site whose name I'm unfortunately forgetting, not on purpose.
Well, will E-Bombs World make it?
Well, does anybody even run eBounds? That's the problem. Any of the sites that are on autopilot are going to have a bad time because they're not going to survive. It's the ones where they're still curating it. So Strong Bad / Homestar, Albino Black Sheep, Newgrounds, like they're taking an interest. They want to live past next week. So it's not perfect emulation, but we're going to get better than we ever, than what I think people were expecting. It's not as hopeless as people think. And I've got artists and other people who are coming to the archive, and they're giving us their SWF files to go like, oh, I worked on this. Nobody ever saw it. Here, take it. And we're putting them up. So that's exciting. We just put up, so before he became a fascist, Scott Adams of Dilbert tried to do Soylent, but it's a burrito called the Del Burrito, which may be outside of everyone's experience. He basically tried to create a hybrid vegan burrito that would have all the essential nutrients to live. The idea being you would just eat this burrito once a day. It didn't do well, but they made a Flash game to promote it, and I just put the Flash game up, so that lives now.
It's Dilbert branded, right? It's like a Dilbert branded food replacement burrito.
It was a Dilbert branded food replacement. The Wayback Machine has kind of the rhetoric of it, and it's very interesting because, like, the self-description, like, now that like Scott Adams is totally cracked, it's easy to like know this. But back in 2000, he's kind of starting to crack. Like his bio on the Del Burrito page, which you can find in the Wayback Machine, which I was just looking at, is like he has had nothing but success. His comic, he's written this himself, right? So it's like his comic is universally loved. His books are read widely. He is consulted for all these things. And good news, he's now working on a food product, and his food product will change the nature of food. And I don't know who he's writing it for, but apparently he lost a lot of money on it. He spent a lot of money. So anyway, but you like finding these weird little cultural things that kind of flared up and disappeared. I have a few dozen Nick Jr. games up from like when Nickelodeon was doing lots of branded Nick games, and it is I've been making sub collections as groups start to form, and it is obvious there is an entire collection of Adver games that have to go into their own collection, like Juicy Fruit and Minute Maid and all these other ones.
Yeah, how does that work with the Advert games? I feel like Flash was full of those. I knew a studio in New York that made 50 SpongeBob games in 1 year.
Yeah, I mean,
every week.
So it's very obvious that like, and I'm surprised that like, there's a couple houses that are making these very intensive, very overwrought history of minor aspects of electronic culture, right? Like, there's like a bunch of these groups now who are making a book, and the book will be like, here is way too much information about, I don't know, this knockoff handheld or this particular game. And I'm surprised nobody really took on Flash in a meaningful, like, long way about the fact that there were all these, I call the peak of Flash 99 to like 2005. Then once kind of YouTube starts coming up and video is available, you don't need Flash for the video aspect, and people like watching TV anyway. So Flash becomes a legacy technology, except for unbelievably things like payroll departments and other applications. That's Adobe's work, by the way. Adobe shifts Flash from a creative platform to a technical one. Like, why even have to? Like, they're trying to turn Flash into Java, the idealized cross-platform operating system, and so it becomes ridiculously complicated, therefore buggy, therefore a headache, therefore Steve Jobs says, I don't want these on iOS devices anymore.
Yeah, Steve Jobs really he didn't really like the Flash. I think right before he died, he was like, make sure to take down Flash.
Take Flash out. So like my belief is that from like 99 to 2005, Flash is like way up there. Like you if you're a design firm, in the same way you have to be willing to do business cards, do a website, you need to have somebody on staff who can do Flash. And there exists this booming industry where they'll make white label games, and then you pay them $5,000 and they will rebrand the game so it's your product or your thing. And you can tell they're reusing the same code. I'm discovering that right now. Like, they'll just use the same code over and over and over again because it's a little industry. It's just this little thing going on. And these games, now I'm collecting them like they're each precious baubles, and they're essentially discarded horse racing tickets in terms of value. They're not great. And so I'd love to get back to the quality ones. What I did to myself was I was worried people would say, oh no, there's only 150 of them that you have up. So I went to this Russian 2 CD set that was sold in 2002 and installed all 1,100 games on it. And they're awful. I mean, they're really awful games. And I'm just getting through them. I'm down to like the last 150. I'll be done with them very shortly. And then I will add games as I see them with a thing. So when I stop, there aren't new ones to look through. Like, in other words, like I'll be one of the people dumping them on there. There are a lot of games. There are a lot of advertising. There's a lot of toys. There's a lot of interfaces, like menus to like MTV and so on. They're an accessibility nightmare. It's good that we got rid of them. There's a lot of rich, weird history. And every time I put something up, somebody goes, oh my God, I'm 12 again. And I have, this is not my era. My era is like 79 to like 89. That's like my stuff. So this is more somebody else's era. And so watching them kind of relive their childhoods has been kind of intriguing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, go ahead, JP.
No, I was just going to say thank you so much for sharing that. But I think we're going to have Charles have the floor now, except that Charles just disappeared just in time.
Oh no!
Oh, Charles is back.
Oh, there he is.
But yeah, Jason, thank you so much.
No problem.
That was incredible information, and I'm glad that people are doing that kind of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm Text Files on Twitter if anybody has questions, but I'm going to get out of the way and let other people have it. Yeah, Text Files, like files made of text. I have textfiles.com, BBS era Text Files. That's Sumerian stones compared to what we're discussing now. So that's cool. So
this
thanks
news
for having
has made
me.
my day.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Very
it.
helpful.
I'll get out of everyone's
Thank you.
everyone's face.
Thank
See you later.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on.
Bye-bye.
Jason.
Is that gonna stick around for the floor?
Also,
Well, he's watching it.
It was good to be here and talk to everyone.
Yeah, thanks for showing us Crimson Room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go play it again now. All right. Have a good night, everyone.
All right.
too.
Good night.
Take care.
Nice meeting you.
And yeah, I think Jason is still around, but he's in the Twitch stream, not in the Zoom call. So he'll still be watching people's talks. But yeah, Charles, do you want to take it away?
We're doing this? We're ready? Okay, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I was very excited to hear everything that was being said there with like the history of Flash by everybody, and in particular Jason Dot. Like my talk is like maybe most directly tying into that legacy, and it's actually going to go over some of the history of that. Let me just share the audio quickly. And let me know if the audio is going to be fine, but it will be pretty optional, so we should be able to get through it without audio and all that. But yeah, I'm very excited. I have so many questions, like, does he have, like, Dikembe Mutombo's 4.5 weeks to save the world in Booba Zone? Anyway, so let me know later, but I gotta do a talk now. And yeah, I thought that, so this is my Animutations talk for Baby Castle's Flash Games mini talks from Charles H. Wong. I thought this was tomorrow, but it turned out, I found out like about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, that I made a mistake, and it's actually today. And they asked me, oh, do you think you can do a presentation in like that amount of time? Do you understand who I am? I'm ready. I was born for this talk. I can do this talk in 90 minutes. I'm ready for making this right now. So you're going to see why exactly that's the case. So let's get started on that journey. So let's do that. And as you'll see, my history is basically very intertwined with the history of Flash. And it all started with a classmate of mine in middle school. His name was Ren. He was a Vietnamese American kid. We didn't get to sit on like the big table where there were all the cool kids and like even just medium kids were hanging out. We had to be like fighting for seat space, me and him, me and Ren, and we were best buds in like 7th grade. And very early on, I remember him saying like, yo, you ever heard of this thing called Newgrounds, man? And he changed my life. And yeah, and then it's pretty much like my life's been history ever since then. But let's explain some of that, shall we? And just to give you a background on Flash and Newgrounds and stuff, Newgrounds itself was like this hub of like Flash stuff that could be uploaded by anyone, as people have been saying. And just to give an idea of the scope of that, it was like an open submission process that had never been done before. The beginning of like Web 2.0 rich media stuff. And so that included games, animations, music, and art. And animations then were like the only video you could do because bandwidth was too thin back then. You didn't have like cable modems and stuff. So like the only thing you could transmit was these like very tiny proprietary Flash animations, which were done using vector art. So yeah, and then later I became a game developer. I ran this game developers club in undergrad. I made a wiki. I told people they should edit the wiki. Nobody edited the wiki because no one on earth would do that except me. I edited the wiki. And then I made a Flash game that like was a finalist as a solo developer in the game programming competition. And this is that game, but we don't have time to go through that because this is we have 20 slides that I made in 90 minutes, and this is a 10-minute talk. So I will respect the time. Maybe we'll go back to it if we have time. And then I made an HTML5 game because I knew Flash was dying. And then I used that to apply to Scholastic, which helped me get the job there. And there I would make Flash games for like another 2 years or so. And I would still be making them as I was doing this trip to GDC, where Scholastic paid me some paid time off to go to GDC to do research on our competition. And I was still getting paid to make Flash games and getting paid time off to go to GDC. And I told them all about why Flash games were dying in this talk by John Cooney from who was at Congregate at the time, called the Flash Games Postmortem. And just telling my boss, like, oh yeah, this thing's dying. And he's like, oh, okay, we'll figure it out. I'm like, okay. And then eventually we switched to HTML5. And we had to do a whole like transferring process of changing all our Flash games to HTML5 there. Anyway, those games led to stuff like TIG-Source, and which is like the very early proto versions of like the indie games movement. Here's the indie games wiki, TIG wiki. Here's a photo of Edmund Macmillan holding Derek Yu, very contemporary indie developers. Edmund Macmillan of Super Meat Boy fame and Derek Yu of Spelunky 2, which just recently came out. And many others in that scene are still around today. And yeah, so Flash directly came from this, led to this. And main takeaways from all that stuff, that quick history is Flash was huge, is huge, was huge, is huge, both at the same time. Like if you got on the front page of Newgrounds, you get millions of views instantly. And it was all done manually because it was able to be done manually because there was enough submissions that like people could just curate it at the time. And now like YouTube's all algorithms and stuff. Terrible nonsense. Deal with it. Anyway, Flash was cross-platform. It had like a 90% plus market penetration in all browsers. Like it would just work. Like you couldn't put a price on that kind of thing. Like if you try to use Unity, it's going to have bugs on each build, on each platform. It's a mess. So yeah, that was another factor of what made it so big. And the advertising model was really big. Like a classmate of mine in undergrad, Max Stein, he would sell games to Flash Game License. That was the thing at the time. That was like the Flash Games publisher back then. Now they go by like FGL, and they might still be around. I'm not sure. And yeah, he would like get stuff for like 5 figures, 4 figures, and stuff like that. Max Stein, much love to you. I know we've had some tough times in the past. I just want to give a shout out to you. I still have love for you, man. Just want to throw that in there. You know, and I was like a lonely weirdo kid into Newgrounds and stuff. So yeah, I might have made some mistakes, but I still love you, man. And then anyway, Flash games led to the legacy of the whole internet. And if we have anything that good ever again, you got to cherish it, you got to appreciate it, and you got to hopefully monetize it a little bit. And it was killed by, as we mentioned, Steve Jobs with the iPhone. Didn't like Flash, didn't want Flash to run on an iPhone, and then you had to. And
he hated Flash. He hated Flash so much.
Yeah, he hated it.
He really did.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Steve Jobs. But he really killed Flash right before he passed into eternity and all that. But yeah, but we can archive Flash stuff though. Anyway, and then AdBlock.
Question.
Careful with that. I'm sorry. Yeah, quick question.
Quick. Okay. Steve Jobs, did he give reasons why he hated Flash? Like, this is all
I think
news
it's
to me.
he wrote like an essay on it. He hated it so much. He wrote like an essay that he like published in like the Wall Street Journal or something.
Yeah,
why he didn't
He had a
like Flash.
personal blog.
Yeah, it was like, wasn't there some personal beef with the Flash developers, or was it something else?
I think there was some drama with Adobe.
There's a lot of things to unpack there. He cited like security problems a lot and like memory leak issues and stuff.
I think he was mad Adobe didn't like upgrade their Photoshop for like the new Mac operating system, so he was like, he soured on Adobe for like 5 years.
Yeah.
He didn't want people running like Flash games in their iPhone because he couldn't sell in-app purchases to them.
Yeah,
that's my theory.
That was part of it. Like he wanted to get a cut, but yeah, even before all this, I remember I was at South by Southwest and like the rumors about Adobe and Apple. Basically, people were like, Adobe and Apple are getting a divorce. Like Apple, I guess, used to own like a third of Adobe. They sort of like got them going. And
I still have more talk, by the way. I'm on slide 8 of 21. I still have more, by the way. It's just to keep in mind.
Okay. We won't take this out of your time, Charles.
Okay.
I didn't know Apple actually owned part of Adobe.
Yeah, they own part of Adobe, and then around this time there was like a lot of like bad blood, and I think there's like some beef between like Final Cut and Premiere, and like they weren't updating anything, and like they were just really pissed off. And I think part of it was like he's like, I want to stick it to him. Like this guy has grudges. Like I think one of his dying words was like, I want to sue Google for Android or something. Like, he just...
Apparently, oh wow, someone in chat is saying, and I just Googled this, and it's, well, at least part of it's true, but apparently the founder of Adobe was kidnapped in 2006, but it unclear if this has anything to do with any beefs with any other tech entities. Interesting.
Blowing my mind.
Yeah, this is very interesting.
No official sources saying if Steve Jobs kidnapped the head of Adobe. Okay. All right. Sure.
Sorry,
but yeah, also
you can continue.
Also people not liking ads killed.
Yeah, a lot of people in the HTML world like hated it. They were like, "We hate Flash. Like, when will it die? Like, it's ruining everything." And then once HTML5 was like promised to fix everything, they felt confident to dump it.
Yeah, HTML5 is like I believe it's like run by an independent nonprofit or something, whereas like Flash is proprietary and owned by Adobe and stuff. So I don't know. You can take that as you will. And then so all these things: YouTube, Steam, SoundCloud, DeviantArt. I'm out of
Charles. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, I have 10 more slides to go. Okay, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna keep going anyway, despite what you're telling me to stop, because I have to tell you my personal story with Flash and my life. This is my life, and this is your life too, everybody. Everyone here, everyone on the internet owes Flash. Everyone owes Flash. Okay, you understand that? Okay, anyway, let me continue. All right, so yeah, escape rooms, game engines, all from Newgrounds. I should put Flash there also. Anyway, so yeah, so this was about Animutations, but I decided to go on that little explanation of Flash. 2 notes. I love Animutations, but there's actually like very serious like editor's disclaimer on the, if you suffer from epilepsy, it's like maybe known to trigger such. You're advised not to watch the videos. I will not include anything that will trigger that, or like I will not include any like rapid animations of any sort. And there is a moment where I will have a 10-second clip. At that point, I will prompt you to like close your screen, and I'll tell you when it's over, and I will do like a little thing there. So yeah, origins of Animutation. Basically, Neil C. Siriga. Neil C. Siriga is known for doing Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny, and also a web series known as Potter Puppet Pals. But he also made a whole genre of web animations called Animutation. And what is it? Well, it's something like this, but it's basically inspired by cutout animation. It's a genre that has its roots in I don't know, even in the early 1900s, but you can also see it in like Monty Python and South Park. But basically, how Flash enabled this revolution is its ability to automate tweening animation. Normally in animation, you have to like move something every frame to move it in between different states. But in Flash, you could just do something automated where it would automate motion tween. So you can make it go from point to point. And you can also make shapes change into each other, as we can see. And also rampant piracy on the internet. A lot of technologies owe a lot of legacy to piracy. Don't forget that. If you ever invent a new technology, figure out a way to integrate piracy in some way. Makes a lot of money. Tongue in cheek. I didn't tell you anything. Also, another aspect is Flash has lossless vector art. It's helped with the compression. And if you look up here, you can zoom into like an archive.org animation of Charlie the Unicorn. And provided you're not using bitmaps, the vector art will be crisp. So I would argue that Flash might be the vinyl of like web animations. Think about that. Think about that. It's actually better quality.
Correct.
Not this like lossy 240p, 360p nonsense on YouTube. Just download a 5 megabyte Flash WF Swift file, and you'll get the whole thing there crisp. Any resolution you want. You could blow up to any infinite resolution, and it'll be crisp. And it'll probably involve like some terrible things like this. So yeah. Anyway, here's a clip. It's a 10-second clip. So I will give you an epilepsy warning, and I will also dictate it verbally as to what's happening. So you can feel free to like look away from the screen or like hide the screen or whatever. But I will, and this is sometimes attributed to being the first Animutation. This is a 10-second clip from Japanese Poke Rap by, I believe, Neil C. Siriga. So let's take a look here. Okay, so there's a guy, and Pikachu's blown up, and it got punched. And then Bill Nye's going like this, like at angles, 45-degree angles. Hamburger's running across the screen. And yeah, and you hear like the Japanese Poke Rap and stuff. And yeah, here's more stuff. Here's another one, not by Neil C. Siriga. I don't have a clip from this one. I did not get enough time to put in clips. But yeah, this is from Yatta, Irrational Exuberance. Yatta itself is already a viral Flash video on Newgrounds, but then somebody did an Animutation of it. So you can check this out at this link. I will link it later. And then also, just to get an idea of like the kind of things you would blow up in, 5K or whatever on your TVs. Very, very problematic early internet stuff like, George W. Bush and Adolf Hitler and stuff like that. Early internet is how it was. A bunch of like adolescent boys in America, during 2002 or whatever. Colin Mockery was the staple Animutation character, famous improv Canadian-American comedian known for his performances on Whose Line Is It Anyway? I believe he was interviewed by my university about what he felt about that, and I think he said, it's weird, but it's cool, and something of that extent I'm paraphrasing. And of course, plenty of other things to pirate. But yeah, in conclusion, we owe everything to Flash, and you owe everything to Flash, and I owe everything to Flash, and 99% of my personality is Flash to this day. And now I'm a student at NYU Game Center doing stupid talks like this and making weird games that maybe you can sense a little bit of this Flash influence, and maybe the biggest legacy of Flash beyond just the work itself, which who knows, maybe these archive efforts will result in some inspiration for some next Minecraft 20 years from now. But maybe another bigger legacy of Flash is it became this way for so many weirdo, lonely kids to congregate around each other. Congregate is not mean the plan words there, but to gather together and find something in common. Congregate is with a K, is like the other Flash web games
shutting
website.
down also.
That's kind of shutting down
a few weeks. Yeah.
But yeah, to not mean to rest in peace, Congregate. We loved you. But yeah, the bigger congregation beyond Congregate and Newgrounds itself and those animations is the people and the weirdo, lonely kids that learn from each other. I'm going to wrap up in a second, and I'm just going to give a shout out to like that weirdo, lonely kid like me, Ren, also an Asian American kid feeling lonely. I abandoned him, is what I didn't say. I abandoned him in 8th grade so I could like be friends with the kids on the big table. I'm so sorry, Ren. I owe everything to you. You just wanted to be my friend. I ended up making a whole career out of this and doing this talk now. I owe everything to you, and I also owe you my friendship, Ren. If you're out there somehow seeing this in some possible way, Ren, I just want to give a shout out to you. Love you. And I'm a weirdo, lonely kid, and that's why I would do stuff like abandon a friend like that, and I'm still unlearning that. And that's the lesson that Flash keeps teaching me. All right, thank you, everybody. That's my time, probably plenty. And all right, that's the end of my talk. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Charles.
There's a whole character arc and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. The full narrative.
I gotta follow that.
We gotta find Ren now. Hashtag find Ren. Make it trending on Twitter.
Oh yeah. Also, Charles, put your itch.io page in the Twitch chat, or you can send it to me and I can put it in the Twitch chat.
For sure. Yeah, I'll hop in the Twitch chat after this. All right, thank you so much. Cool.
It was awesome.
Thank you. That was a great presentation.
That was super cool.
All right, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Take care. I'll be leaving the Zoom now. Thank you.
Okay.
You're leaving, Charles? No.
Bye bye.
Take care. Bye. If the floor belongs to you, Carl, whenever you're ready.
Okay. So let me share here with sound. So in like 2002, I really liked this band, the Polyphonic Spree, that had there's 20-something people in the band. This is like their big hit. This was in like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and it's been featured on a bunch of TV shows and stuff, and I think it's been in some game soundtracks. Yeah. How's that? Cool. So yeah, we know this song. But yeah, it was this band with 25 people that all wore these choir robes and sort of did this extremely positive music and very Flaming Lips-esque kind of vibes, but big party, everyone's playing all different kinds of instruments. I think St. Vincent came out, she was in the Polyphonic Spree before she went solo. But yeah, this was I was 17-year-old, lots of feelings, and this really scratched an itch. And I really liked their first album a lot. So, which came out in 2002. The label dropped them right before they got, this became a big, started picking up steam. And so they got signed to another label and the album got reissued. So it came out in 2002 and then again in 2003, 18 months later. So then it's not too terribly long after that they have to record a follow-up. And so there's this, when they were gearing up to release it, they contracted a studio to make this little game called The Quest for the Rest. I have the tab muted. Oh, no, come on. Let me unmute the tab. And so all the soundtrack is all music is all clips of music from the new album. And I love the art style, and it's a point and click adventure, and so I think I did something. Let me just reload it. Yeah, okay. So you have to click. I think I have to make these things grow. I have to click on the the flowers, I think, on the cactus. Eventually, they turn into fruit, and the rat comes and steals them. And I think what I have to do is leave him distracted. Maybe it's this one? Well, I think it's been a while since I played this, but well, I mean, it's been like a few weeks because I remembered it recently, but you gotta get the turtle. Oh, I think that there's a way to get rid of the rat. If this turns into just me trying to remember how to do level 1, I'm gonna be real disappointed in myself. Because the other levels look really cool. Wait, can I click on the? There's something else that I'm not clicking on here. Because there's like something that scares the rat away, or that gets rid of the rat, so that the turtle can wake up and come and eat the.
Is it that lizard? It looked like when you clicked the lizard, the rat came out a little bit.
No, I also clicked the rat.
Oh, okay.
But I can't.
Is the rat gonna come out for the food on the right side as well? I wonder if the eagle will be picking up the rat.
Ooh, you're right. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, that one. Here we go. So then you have to wake this guy up. He inflates the balloon. So that clears level 1. So I've always been a big fan of sort of point and click puzzle games like this. I'm not even going to try to play this level because I already know that it took me a really long time to figure out how to get past it again. I think there's only like 5 or 6 screens, but how am I doing on time?
You essentially have like 5 minutes. You're sort of like half done. We started.
Yeah.
We took like 5 minutes of Charles's time, so we're on like the 5s now.
Cool. But so this studio, so this was made by it's made by this group Amanita Design, who get out of the way. The Zoom bar is like in the way. So they're a studio from the Czech Republic, and this is that game is one of the very first things they did. It looks like they started off doing client stuff. They have a game for the BBC, they have a game for Nike, and they have this. But it's sort of like all made in this kind of distinctive style. But it looks like right around here, let's let's see. So this came out in 2003. So I'm just guessing that, like, I'm just going to kind of guess that this would have come out. I wish that these said when, had like a date on these pages of like when these games came out. Oh, so 2007. Yeah, that's about when the iPhone came out, right? It seems like they kind of like, it seems like they were, these folks were, able to read the writing on the wall on like sort of, we need to start thinking about another platform very fast. So everything they've made from this point onward has been, they stopped using Flash very quickly. And they made these, but their games look really, I watched the trailers for some of these. Haven't had a chance to play any of them yet, but the art style is really cool. Most of it is more point and click. They like making point and click puzzle games, sort of. I love. Oh, that's really cool. I'm a big fan of just hand drawn art in games. Period. This is sort of like this Polyphonic Spree game. I discovered this, this came out when I was in high school. And at this point, sort of just like I had kind of, I had been into video games as a kid. And then I had kind of like around when I was like 14, I kind of just lost interest in video games when I got more interested in making music. And I spent all my time doing that instead. But then sort of like things like this and sort of other Flash content like Homestar Runner or the emo game or sort of stuff that kind of came out when I was like, it was coming out in like 2003, like when I was 17, started to kind of like have this really, have this kind of like really, really deep impact on just like my aesthetic sensibility. I hadn't like, it took me I didn't come around to sort of being interested in games specifically again, but I was all through college very always very interested in interactive media, and in particular interactive media where it was sort of like a companion piece to a piece of music, and or something that like sort of was very closely tied to work made in some other medium. This is kind of, I think that this is one of sort of, if I sort of, try and, sort of connect the dots back in time to sort of where did that start? I think this is like, for me, kind of one of the first things where, that kind of made me start thinking along those lines. And that's all I have to say about that.
Thanks, Carl.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that was
really
awesome.
Cool. Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, this reminds me of Mechanarium," and then I noticed that that's one of the games they made.
Yep.
When you're scrolling through.
Yeah, they put out a game this year too. They released a game called, I already stopped sharing my screen, but they released a game called Creeks in July.
Awesome. I'll check out that page. Actually, maybe you can send that link to Flan too. And
yeah,
can post
let me just post this. I'm going to post this in the Twitch chat.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
And Yushin, are you ready to talk about Haboon?
Oh boy.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks, Carl. Yeah, Yushin, you have the floor.
Yeah, the art style is incredible.
Cool. I started to play Haboon during quarantine. This is actually probably compared to most of the Flash game memories of other presenters is relatively recent. But I was really into this game. Haboon is a world building game and also an online community aimed at teens and preteens, young adults. So this is my home in Haboon. It resembles my actual home, and this is me. I do have a chicken, and So in Haboon, the majority of the time you were building rooms or exploring and hanging out with your friends. I'm going to show a few cool rooms my friends and I made. So this is the CSIS showcase room Rachel made. It's also point and click. A few of the elements you can interact with, and you have bots and rudimentary coding, computing blocks as well. Let's go to CSIS Lounge. I made this game basically for my friend Pammy. When quarantine just started, Pammy was pretty depressed because he spent majority of the time in the CSIS area. Let's see. This is Pammy's seat, and once the space was closed and everybody has to take their stuff away, and we kind of were only able to hang out on Zoom, and I wanted to make a place that we can hang out, maybe just co-working. So this is the first room I made. It took me like a night and adding more furnitures and this little area for my friend Caroline later on in the week. And in Haboon, you have furnitures that you can put on. I'm gonna give myself some strawberries. And some of them can be interactive. For example, if I click on the strawberries, I eat them. And then you have different postures gestures you can use. Number one command is, I have to stand up. So I'm waving, and if I go to the bear, I'll lie down. It's basically a hangout space for friends, and I'm gonna show a little bit more rooms later if we have time. And cool, yeah.
Yeah, you have about five more minutes, so you can keep going. Also, you should probably mention for people that don't know that this is essentially a Habbo Hotel pirate server.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about that.
Okay.
So before we talk about Haboon, we should talk about the Habbo Hotel. Haboon is a knockoff service room for Habbo Hotel. So technically, it's a lot of the sprite probably copyrighted belongs to Habbo Hotel. That's also why the domain name is PW, which is a island in Oceania, close by Philippines. I think I have a photo of where Palau is, the PW domain name. And there's very little documentations on Haboon, and there's no wiki page. Fandom is kind of non-existent as well, a few scattered entries. And information, it's pretty opaque. I think one of the reasons might be it's like a knockoff site, so they're worried about the legal issues. Habbo Hotel was made in 2000s. It's a very early on online hangout platform aimed on teens. It started off as a freelance project for two developers. They were making something like a multiplayer game for a band, which called Mobile Disco. And this is one of the developers, Apple. He's Haboon character, and they quickly expanded to a lot of different countries. Each country has their own site, and the old site is either named in Habbo or Habbo Hotel, and they were recently renamed to Habbo unanimously. Around 2009 and 2010, they closed down the services that's not very a lot of users and high cost. For example, service like in China, they closed it in 2007, and they also combined all the English language speaking services to one site, which is Habbo.com, and that sort of triggered some movement in Habbo. That's my understanding from my research. Is some of the users likes their old site or were unhappy about like closing down Habbo, and also Habbo on Habboon you get free currencies as long when you are staying on the site, and you get a lot of free coins. So technically, if you just wanted to purchase regular furnitures, which they call it furnies, you don't really need to spend any money unless you want some rare items. However, on Habboon, those coins, the income you got is much less, and in order for you to be able to buy furnies and make a room, you often have to spend a long time on the site or actually paying currencies. That's also one of the reasons, plus the combining of all English site. So there is a few, from that point on, some kind of archive sites, for example, this one called Habbo Ages, started to archive the old site stuff, and there is also like a movement called Retro Habbos starting. This is one of the users in, I think, 2018, wrote a post on Habbox about, she said, lately I have discovered that the population of Habbo has dropped, and she contributed the reason is because Habbo rituals. So what's Habbo rituals? According to Habbox, which is a Habbox wiki is the most complete so far I found anything about Habbo wikis. I haven't found any official like Habboon wikis yet. So they definitely have a certain agenda here too. So their entry defined Ritual Hotels is a fake illegal copy of Habboon, and it's get popular because unhappy Habbo users tired of purchasing credit. And these services is not only Habboon. There's many ritual hotels. There's in general 3 type of ritual hotels. One is called Old School, which is generally built by users with more fundamental functions of the hotel. And in the hotel version, which is early 2007, and the version Habboon belongs to is in Flash, and it is continued to be maintained by what they called is staff members, which is a volunteer or so hiring. I don't exactly know what the hiring process is or if they get paid, but it's generally for users that's staying online for a longer time. You can apply for being a Habboon staff. There's many different ritual hotels. Habboon is one of the most popular. I found this statistic on Fandom. I'm not sure if this represents daily active users on Habboon right now. If so, it's around 2,000 to 2,200. There's online tutorials about how you can create a Habbo ritual site, and I can share this link later. This is actually pretty fascinating. I get to see, in order to create it, you basically only need the Swift file and the CMS, creating a database, and the Swift file to, and the assets, to download the assets in order to create it. This person were able to teach, like make a tutorial in 10 minutes, which is pretty fascinating. And I'm not exactly sure when Haboon existed. Some information I got is the best place to be since 2013, and some information I got they were created in 2017. But what I know is since the site was created, it was maintained by Haboon staff members. That's also one of the reasons on Haboon a few functions are broken and nobody's really attempting to fix it. For example, the pads function that you can own pads and you can make pads were broken, and you won't be able to like keep them for a very long time. And you can't in Habbo Hotel. I think you can connect the external links and to watch TVs actually in YouTube videos in the game, but in Haboon you couldn't. This is the current Haboon staff. If you go onto their site, you can find them. And as I said,
just a heads up here, you're over a bit, and I noticed from your scroll bar you have a ton more slides. So I just want to let you know you can wrap up, but just speed run it. Yeah,
majority of the pictures. I just wanted to mention one of the reasons I wanted to talk about Haboon is I'm not sure if among all the Flash games they will be preserved. As I'm talking, I'm gonna show you some of the cool rooms my friend made it, and we found because it is not only a Flash game but also like an online community, and there's a lot of custom-made rooms, and which I believe it is the actual valuable parts of the game. And this is the living room in hotel made by user 000 Lilian. Compared to other Flash games, it's not just like downloading the Swift. You have to run a server, and those data is stored on a database, which we don't know if they will be keeping it, and we can access it after the site is shutting down. So, and also because it's like a knockoff site in a copyright a little bit awkward place. That's why. Hello, Liam. I just saw Liam. That's why. Come out.
I'm gonna log in. But yeah, these spaces that Lillian has made are just like really incredible.
Yeah. This is the pool, which is
the moon is great.
I think this is like a great place, but compared to other games, maybe it's a little harder to preserve. That's why I wanted to talk about it and show people like the cool places. I'm gonna keep room hopping. Cool places we created and we've seen other people made. This is the train. Lilian made this incredible train cars. It has dining room. And it has a battlefield. Maybe battlefield was separated now. Oh yeah, battlefield is separated to a different area. And this is the office. This is where everything started. The first room that I come to hang out with. And during quarantine, me and my friend just hang out here, and Emily's birthday party was hosted here. There's a phone booth. I think Oda sent a photo of a music video Lilian created. And I also wanted to show, let's see, the Space Center, and there's like this meditative Oda's created space. these rooms are pretty incredible. The last one I wanted to show is from Lilian has this spreadsheet of like cool rooms she found while exploring, and one of my favorite creator is Bogan, and he made this while you're making rooms in Habun. Sometimes it's mind-blowing to see what other people build. For example, this one is Nintendo Switch, but you can walk around inside of it, and it is.
That sounds so cool.
Yeah, as my background says, I mean, this is quoted from Fuan. It's really
way more customizable than Animal Crossing.
Yeah, it's really a work of art, and how people like block the view because this is a fake 3D, so you have to figuring out ways to stack things. And I think this person create some pretty cool effects that, yeah, and you can dance here.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite thing about seeing what people do with the Habbo rooms is just like how they sort of, like take advantage of the ways that the furniture works to do like cool stuff. And there's also some like programmable stuff that you can do. So people have bots in Habbo and like entire kind of game rooms that you can interact with.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, cool. Yeah, I think that's my presentation. I wanted to show a sign.
Thank you, Yushin.
10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was talking to a different archivist a long time ago, but they were saying that the server-based games were the hardest ones to actually preserve. Things like, at the time they're talking about things like Ultima and EverQuest and stuff like that. But yeah, this is another one. Even if you like are able to archive the SWF, it's not going to work unless you have a copy of the server code.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a New York City company called OMG Pop that had a lot of multiplayer games. And I made some games for them, but they're impossible to archive. So it's very frustrating that no one might play them in the future.
Yeah.
Angie, you'll just have to do a remake. You made did you make like the Penguin game? Was that?
There was some. They had a lot of. They were close to the OMG Pop was a New York City Flash site, and basically it was like a social network where you could play these multiplayer games in real time. But the founders of that company loved Super Nintendo games, so they did like Mario Kart style games, and there was a unicycle style game, Kirby Dream World. But they're all made in Flash, but they were referencing like Super Nintendo. So it's interesting with Jason Scott talking about this Flash generation was like the free console for all these kids that was always on, and they could sneak it into school. A lot of the creators were also inspired by the games of their childhood, whether it be like Super Nintendo, or PlayStation or Genesis. And now these games are kind of the foundation for the beginning of like the indie game movement. We were talking about Super Meat Boy and others earlier.
Yeah, we essentially, when we started this, we essentially had this list, and a lot of things like Dad and Me, or regular Meat Boy, were like all
Dad and Me, that was a great one.
Posted on it. Those guys made Castle Crashers. Well, thanks. I know now we're super late. We were super early before, but I'd like to welcome either our ultimate host or our penultimate host, depending if Gavin shows up. And
so Gavin emailed me. He's flicking out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then
I can still demo his game, but it's not necessary.
It's all right. We could just chill and do some casual stuff at the very end, but I want to make sure that we go out solid. So, Olivar, you have the floor whenever you are ready.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry, I was muted. Whoops. Okay, give me a second.
It's been 2 hours since we started. So.
Okay. So, I'm going to talk about a little game called Alice is Dead, not to be confused with Alice Isn't Dead, which kind of pisses me off that it pops up when I search for Alice is Dead. They're two very opposite things. But my history with Flash is I was a kid who wasn't allowed to play video games. So Flash was like my go-to shit. And I think it took until I was like in the 8th grade to convince my mom to let me play video games. And all I had to say was, Mom, I want to become a video game designer. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, I need to play video games to be able to know how to design them. And she was like, oh. And then from then on, I was allowed to play video games. But until that point, I had to sneak any video game that I ever played. So that is a reason that Flash has a special place in my heart. And I kind of was like a late bloomer when it came to a lot of video games. So I get a lot of, oh my God, you didn't play this, you didn't play that. And I've been playing catch up ever since. So I'm going to share. Here we go. By the way, I'm going to say something a little bit controversial here. And Alice is Dead walked so Franbo could run. And by the way, feel free to commentate, ask questions, whatever. The sound design in the game is some of my favorite. We got some legit games. And I think this was before Alice Madness Returns too. So they kind of breathed new life into the whole grimification of fairy tales thing that was happening for a while, because it was starting to get stale. Then it came back. This game kind of breathed some new life into it. Then a couple years later, I think Alice Madness Returns came on, and then this is definitely has a little bit of inspiration from BioShock, because it was released a little bit later. Because you'll see why in just a second. So I'm just going to get into it and play. Who am I? And so you get to look around. It's a point and click puzzle game, adventure. But you see how like the music kind of, it's like quiet. And it gets much louder when you go over here. Quiet, and then there are lots of things to look at. So, for instance, okay, the skeleton over here that looks like Alice. We're gonna go look over there. The macabre humor in here is pretty nice. It's like, Alice forgot to put on makeup. Alice doesn't smile as much as she used to. So, alright. And then this corpse is facing up, and there are a lot of little cutaways where it's absolutely unsettling. Like, you'll go away from a scene and then something will change. So while these are hand-drawn and like there's very sparse animation, so like the bugs crawling on her are animated and stuff like that. So we have this right here. It says drink me, but it's empty. Damn. And then we have here, there's a note in her pocket. And this game, by the way, it was made it was released in 2009. So the message on this letter says, kill the rabbit.
2009 surprises me. That's like, Flash is already, like, the writing's on the wall really at that point. They just went for it.
Oh, you mean like the ending of Flash?
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting though, because he still continued. So this is Alice is Dead episode 1. There are still 2 more episodes after that. So yeah, so then this little spider comes out. A spider, this must be its home. And then there's a card right here. And you can find different ways to interact with your environment. And then sometimes the more you clicked on things, the more the main player will be like, what are you doing? Like, stop. So it gets like a little meta here and there where it's like, it gets kind of annoyed with you. And then you see that it's like, this is the hole you fell through. Climbing back out is impossible. So there's this. A big stick. Nice. A rock. Nice. Okay. I think that's all we can collect right here. And so you can make items interact with each other. So I'm going to take this rock and go. Boop. I played it yesterday just to get a little bit of a refresher. But yesterday it had been 10 years since I had played it. Maybe, yeah, 10 years since I had played it. And so I spent 3 hours on stream playing all 3 of the games because I was like stumped forever. I was like, oh crap, I did this when I was a kid?
He's a great big coward, so I'll tell you what to do.
So
hush, hush, here comes the boogeyman. Don't let him come too close to you, he'll catch you with
we can go. No matter how hard you pull or push the door, it won't budge, right? So we kind of have to use our brain and come up with something. Yes, you broke a shovel. Your parents must be very proud. Like, it gets annoyed at you for like clicking at like random things a bunch. So
tell him you've got soldiers in your bed, for he will never guess that they are only made of lead. Say hush hush, he'll think that you're
right. So you keep clicking around. What? So you can collect one of her bones. What? She isn't using it anymore, so it's a little bit macabre, sassy. You sharpen the bone, you use the rough rock. So you sharpen this bone with a rough rock. You kind of just tinker around. You're like, okay, let me see if I can pry this door open with this. You try to pry the door open, doesn't budge. Okay, so then you're like, well, maybe I'll try the sharp bone. You can actually hear something unlock. So you turn around, music is even louder at this point. It's kind of creating an unsettling environment because it's like, here comes the boogeyman. So we get to go down the rabbit hole.
Say meow, pretend that you're a cat. He'll think you may
and then you can be like, okay, well, what is that? This tree trunk is filled with acid, and you can like dip this, you fill the bottle with acid. So it's like, okay, this is clearly looks like a key card scanner. So it's like, okay, well, I have a card here. Let me see. Bingo. Okay, it somehow works. But then the door still won't budge.
High technology.
Yeah. And like these songs have been stuck in my head ever since. Like, it didn't matter that I hadn't played these games in like 10 years. I still know all the words to all these songs, and they regularly get stuck in my head. Like while I'm cleaning or whatever, they just like earworm into my brain.
And these are actual songs from like the 30s or something.
Don't let him come too close to you.
Yeah, it does sound like that, but there were actual games composed and written specifically for the game. Not just like a program like, oh, we made little beeps and boops. Now, I do love chiptune music. I love that. I think that's cool. But there's actual like composed music for a Flash game, which was like totally new to me.
Oh, this song was made for this game?
I don't know if this one in particular, but there is a game, there is a song in this game, and I think it's in the third game. I tried to bring it up on Newgrounds, but this game no longer plays on Newgrounds for reasons. But there's straight up another song in the third Alice is Dead game. And there's the lyrics for it. And what I love about Newgrounds is that like voice actors and animators and and all different kinds of creators could come together and find each other. It was like a community where it's like, okay, I need a voice actor for this animation. It's like, okay, well, I like your work in this, so I'm gonna grab you over here. I saw that you were in this, you were on the front page. I like your voice work. A lot of the voice work in this game is very, very good, by the way. I don't think we're gonna be able to get to it, but it is fantastic. And then so she, like, this is a person who sang a song in this game, posted it, and I do want to be corny and like kind of read this a little bit because this comic encapsulates a lot how I feel about this game. It's been a long time since I found a gym on Newgrounds like this. I remember when I was a kid, I loved it. When playing games on the site opened up my perspective and showed me awesome content. I miss that because I don't get that anymore. That personal feeling when I play a game and I'm in the zone, Newgrounds really fell off. Replaying Alice is Dead, I found this awesome song in the club and I experienced out of an old familiar feeling that I got when playing special games. It's sad because this used to be a ubiquitous feeling in my childhood. Around the time I found the site, I can count the amount of times I feel these feelings on my fingers. It depresses me now to know that I found this song and this game because it's reminiscent of a healthier mindset and time that I know is long gone, right? And so I just wanted to give my 2 cents on the song and how it affected me on an emotional level. I feel like it wouldn't be a review if I just gave you 7 words. It made me nostalgic, though I never heard this before. Hope I can find another awesome and well done game, equally as awesome narrative, while having an amazing soundtrack in the background from Flash games that come out in the future. Wishful thinking, And this is in 2020, by the way. Hania, your voice is enchanting. Thank you for making this song. You took me back, and that means a lot to me. And I just love that even like people who like sang a song in a game. We're able to actually interact with the community in such a way. And I mean, we have Twitter and stuff, but I notice a lot of animations and games and stuff like that. They get like maybe posted on the YouTube, but I don't see. A lot of times they don't get voice actors, or it has to be the creator that does it themselves. But like, there was a collaborative kind of thing that happened when it came to like the Flash community and Newgrounds itself. For instance, like this web is separating you from the caterpillar, right? So we take these 2 combined items, boom, we got rid of that web, right? You throw the bottle broke, but the acid took care of the web. And so I'm like, alright, let me see. The caterpillar is not going to let you pass. Try to interact with a lot of stuff. Okay, the tree of sticky sap could be useful. So you kind of have to like look at your items here. We have a sharp bone, a broomstick, a card, a note that says kill the rabbit, and we have a sharp point in it. Now, I grappled with this for like about half an hour last night because I was like, I don't want to kill the worm! But this was before it was like choice games where, you just kind of have to follow, like where because I think like moral choice games are kind of like the rage right now, but they weren't really that much back then, I guess. So you can take the sticky sap. So the stick now has sticky sap on the end of it. You've made a spear. Nice job. Which is kind of weird. You kind of have to think out of the realm of like reasonable things. Because I was looking for like twine to maybe like tie it to it, or like something like branches, something that I could adhere it to. But you kind of have to get creative and suspend your disbelief. You are in front of a worm after all. So, unfortunately, yes, we do have to stab the worm.
He was trying to block us. So.
Yeah, we have to move forward. That's one way to get by. You pick up the caterpillar.
Watching you create the weapon, like fashioning this thing.
Wait, what? Right, he's just watching us. He's like, all right, well,
What are you gonna do with that? No. Oh.
Just you wait, buddy.
The stop sign was also on the title screen, so a little bit of foreshadowing.
Yeah, there are so many. So like, you can play this game over and over again, and you're gonna catch so many little details that like come back and loop around. Like this game is so well thought out and has so many little. I don't know if you would call them Easter eggs, but you can interact with things that you wouldn't think you'd be able to. For instance, oh, I collected this bell. I wonder if it still works. The bell rings, but nothing happens. And then, so I'm going to collect this key. Obviously, that's going to help us on our journey. And then, so we click around, nothing else. I think we've got all the sap we need. Again, main character is done with our shit. Wait, unlock this bad boy. Something unlocked.
Say hush hush.
And then
you think that you're
there's a briefcase. But this would take forever to do. I wonder if there's something else we could use. Hello. We have a lens. Let's see. So we looked, I looked pretty much everywhere previously. Nothing up here. So I decided, hey, maybe there's something over here. Sure enough, it says die, kill, die. Kill the rabbit. Why won't it open? Why? Rabbit, I miss home. Help me. I don't feel well today. It's like really like, what is it? Environmental stuff that really just like kind of gives you the heebie-jeebies, There's not like actual animations like pop out at you and like freak you out. It's the stuff that you slowly start to unfold through the environment and discovering it that help you tell the story and help you move forward. My friend, why won't this open? It's still here. So we got the code numbers. So we have 8. And we have 2. I think I'm 6. So you can see that she's like slowly dying throughout this whole cave. Like, I don't feel well. 9. I think I'll stay home today. I don't like it here. I don't want to leave. Oh. Then 2. And then I think there is, 2. I've been bad. No one knows. I've been bad. And then that just kind of repeats. 0. No. By the way, this game also made me look like an entire madman because I have a whole notebook with scrawlings of just like code. And if I find this later and I don't know the context, this is going to scare the shit out of me. But so we've got our numbers now. Unfortunately, probably scrawled in blood. And then this is actually the end of the game, by the way. So, wrapping up. There are 2 more games, by the way, but I found the way that the narrative unfolds really, 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 really awesome. So 8. Oh wait, gotta go back because 2. 9. 2. 0. 3. You've won for now. I opened the briefcase. Inside the briefcase is a mirror. I look in the mirror and I remember who I am.
Oh, I saw it coming as soon as the mirror was in there.
I am the rabbit, and someone in Wonderland wants me dead. To be continued.
Cliffhanger.
I remember going into Newgrounds and hitting refresh over and over and over again. Every time I went, I was like, let me just check. Let me check. It was like I had a fix. I had to know if so, but there are 2 more, and then they include like basically almost fully voice acted. It holds up. I didn't think it was going to hold up. I was really nervous about it, but it is actually genuinely incredible. And there are actually tons of forums like making fan theories about it, you know, and so like in the lore of the game and people arguing back and forth. But I don't want to give any spoilers or anything like that. But yeah, there's a lot of love put into this game. There's 3. We thought there maybe could have been a 4th, but it doesn't seem like he's going to make a 4th one. But I am very happy with the Alice is Dead games and the influence that they've probably had, because this was a fairly popular Newgrounds Flash game. Really, really happy with the influence that they've had on future games. And I think this was formative to me, honestly, as a person, and just stories. It made me really, really fall in love with games that told a story and that sucked you in. But that is my talk. I know I went a little bit over. I do apologize, but that is everything about Alice is Dead. Please go check out Alice is Dead before it goes away forever.
Very cool. Two Escape the Room games, like a huge genre in the Flash world.
Yeah, really huge genre. I was going to ask, at the beginning you said that Alice is Dead walked so something else could run. What was the other game?
Fran Bow.
Yeah, what was that about? Yeah, I said it.
Oh, Fran Bow. So Fran Bow is like also like a kind of point and click adventure where you can like unlock different things, but it's incredibly like macabre, but has like this like little childlike fairy tale vibe to it at the same time.
That's the one. It's the little girl escaping from the sanitarium, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, you can have like, you know, it's like, so instead it's like the child as a protagonist instead, but Fran Bow was released much after, and it like just like the art style and everything like that, and the environment and the way you can interact with things and make puzzles. It's very reminiscent. I feel like definitely inspired.
I was thinking the aesthetics of this kind of very obliquely remind me a little bit of Salad Fingers. Yes. And I feel like there was like a specific type of Flash content that was like, you know, kind of like precursor to creepypasta kind of stuff, or like, you know, it was very, you know, that was like really morbid and macabre and jump scary and sort of like feelings of creeping dread. And it was like, I feel like I remember seeing more of that on the internet in the early 2000s than I do now.
Yeah, because I think this was like 2009, so
it was like creepy, but like not necessarily like realistic creepy. It was almost like cartoon unsettling, I guess. Like Salad Fingers is sort of goofy, like it's
right,
but it's weird, right?
Yeah,
but it's unsettling.
It's uncomfortably funny.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to meet that guy.
Because like and like Alice is Dead is also kind of funny too. Mm-hmm. Like it pokes fun at itself, it pokes fun at you. It's sort of, you know, because like the main character is interacting with you. It's like, okay, don't think you're gonna need that, or like it's like you can move away from that now. And if you can believe it, I know I went really fast through that because I knew all the answers because I played it yesterday, but I spent an hour on that yesterday. So you sit there in the environment and you really, really take it in when you're like solving these puzzles. And I mean, like, I'm not the brightest crayon in the box, but so it's like takes me a little bit longer for puzzles, but I still love them.
Yep. The narrator reminds me of kind of those earlier like Infocom, like text adventure games where it's kind of you're essentially, the narrator is like the text parser where it's sort of snarky with you if you're like keep getting something wrong.
Yeah. No, I don't think it punishes you really for being wrong.
Yeah, it just makes a little bit of fun of you.
Yeah. It's really nice. So it's like you're feeling unsettled, but you also feel like weirdly at home with the person like being friendly with you and like kind of jabbing at you, ribbing with you or whatever. It's a very specific feeling that I really enjoyed being immersed in, and I love a lot of the games that were probably inspired by this, and the creator has gone on to make a lot of other works, but I think he did the artwork and did the game, and then like hired like voice actors and stuff like that, and like composers. It was legit, and I think, and it gets better and better because the third one was sponsored by Newgrounds itself. Like Newgrounds sponsored Alice is Dead 3. Like that's how big it got.
Yeah, I remember some of the bigger games actually got the Newgrounds sponsors, and that was like they would pick out the choice directors, and
it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you everybody for coming. This has been a nice trip down memory lane, and it just feels like the more we talk about it, the more things I start remembering.
There's just so many games.
Yeah, especially like when Z shows up with all like the Flash logos. Like I think I lived through most of those. Yeah, maybe up to 2010.
We have a request that everyone dab. I won't force anyone to dab, but if you want to dab.
Sure, we can dab. Is this? I don't know if I've ever dabbed before, but I believe that's what you do. You put your head in your.
Yeah, you just kind of.
It's kind of like achoo.
Yeah, that's what I figured. It's like when Elmo says like sneeze in your elbow.
I hope you're happy, chat. You did it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Thanks everyone who came and spoke, including the people who have left already, and thanks to everyone who's been watching. Really appreciate it. We're doing Flash until it's dead. So next week, at the same time, next Thursday at 7:30, me and JP are coming back, and we're gonna just put through a bunch more games, kind of like we did 2 weeks ago. Oh, go ahead.
This is how you beat a dead platform.
Exactly. Yeah. Just hanging out playing games. If anybody wants to join us, they're welcome to. No, it's not going to be formal. Like this was formal, but this is the formal version.
This is as small as it gets, unless we decide to do some other big event. That's right in December, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I was going to ask. I noticed that our talk is filed under Science and Technology. Is that because Flash is not a category on Twitch? And also, why not?
I feel like Flash is probably not a category on Twitch. The reason it's Science and Technology is because that was what was left from the last talk, whatever the last talk was.
Perfect.
We could try to find. I could if there is Flash on there, I'll try to relabel it for the archive. And when I put it on YouTube, I'll try to tag Flash if it'll let me choose Flash as a tag.
Oh, where does it get put on YouTube? I'm new.
Oh, Baby Castle's YouTube, and we have a what do we call it? A playlist? We have a Game of the Month Club playlist that it'll land on. I'm gonna try to just we'll edit the beginning before we start, and that's pretty much it. I kind of want to. I might put a little Flash intro. Like when we were talking, I started thinking about Homestar Runner. And there's one Homestar Runner where it's like how to make a website, and it's like number 1 long Flash intro. I think the intro to the video should literally just be the long Flash intro.
Legit games.
Legit games.
It's youtube.com. It's youtube.com/ if you just go to youtube.com/Baby Castles, I think that'll take you to the right YouTube profile. Yeah. Cool. But I'll drop a link in the Twitch chat as well.
Yeah, drop a link in the chat. Yeah, it'll
All
be
right,
up
thank
there
you.
too.
Oh, it's youtube.com/user/Baby Castles, but I think either one of those will get you there.
Yeah, and you can probably see the last one where Flan and I are just tag teaming different Flash games.
Yep. And if people have suggestions of more Flash games that they want to see us playing, we do have a spreadsheet. Which maybe can also be linked, but just kind of a big collection of stuff. And we might play the thing and we might not. We're just kind of grabbing whatever looks interesting off of there. one in chat says Elsa dental cleaning frozen princess fun game. I'll make sure that one.
I know I want to do a game I made about being an artist where you just smoke cigarettes and drink coffee. And,
I think I've seen that. I think you've shown me that before.
Yeah, I think I'm going to play that, and then also Personal Trip to the Moon is pretty good.
Wait, is that the one where the loading bar is the cigarette?
No.
That's so.
No, but if you have suggestions, like we have a long spreadsheet that's longer than we'll ever get through. You can just put stuff on it.
Well, one controversial thing that I know happened recently is Nickelodeon bought the rights to Garfield. So Garfield was privately owned by Paws Incorporated, Jim Davis's company, until this year when it was bought, when Nickelodeon bought the IP. And so Nickelodeon bought Garfield.com, and Garfield.com up until this year had a whole bunch of like it had all its own basically just internal Garfield advert games, like, you know, just a bunch of little Garfield games, a lot of which were Flash. And a few months ago, when Nickelodeon bought the rights to Garfield, and they bought Garfield.com, they just wiped it, and now it just redirects you to Nickelodeon.com/Garfield, and all the Garfield games are gone.
Oh no!
So hopefully, I wanted to ask Jason Scott about this, but I'm hoping that that they were able to save all the Garf games.
All them Garf games.
Yeah.
I mean, Garfield's popular enough to where, like, if he was saving like all that like underground, like not very well known stuff, like, I gotta imagine Garfield was saved, right?
Yeah, I would hope so.
Also, you just made me have flashbacks to Build-A-Bear Workshop games. Like, you like resurfaced just a hidden memory.
Yeah. It's I mean, yeah. The other thing I've been thinking about, there was this band. Let me see if I can find this. There was this band.
While you're googling that, I got reminded of some Garfield trivia that you're probably pretty privy to because you're a big Garfield fan.
Oh yeah.
So you know, like, there's a character named Lyman that John's roommate that just disappeared from the comic, and when people asked Jim Davis, he said check John's basement. And in one of the Garfield games, you can go into the basement, and Lyman's like chained to a wall.
Oh my god!
You, like, find his head in like the oven or something.
That sounds like a escape the room game here.
Shut up! Oh my god!
So it is canon that John murdered Lyman.
I think so. I mean, the author said check the basement, and in the game, if you go to the basement, he's like he's chained to the wall for a while before he dies.
So
that's canon, baby.
Yeah, Text Files in the chat has confirmed they've archived 4,155 captures of Garfield.com going back to 1996.
Wow.
Nice.
So it's there. Yep.
Work.
Doing God's work, truly.
You got any Heathcliff games over there?
Awesome, everybody. Well,
let me see if I can. Yeah, this is I think this site is long gone. It was like a band's website that was like this like goth industrial band from Toronto that had this like really ornate Flash website that was like sort of storybook scenes. It was like very black on purple background, and like sort of there was creepy music playing and like little rabbits jumping around and stuff. But now when you go to their website, it just does an infinite loop of redirecting to their Facebook page a bunch of times. So
that's so depressing.
So, yeah.
That's the dystopia we live in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have a shit ton of websites, and then it got boiled down to like 5.
It's true. Yeah, it seems like there used to be more internet in the old days.
Yeah.
Yes. No, remember, because Stumble Upon was a thing, and it brought you to so many different places, and now it, like, half of the links that Stumble Upon would bring you to were just, like, broken or no longer there, or just like, oh, this is now on Facebook, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, even with the Newgrounds stuff, like you were talking about seeing the creators on the side there, it was so cool to see the artists that were making those Flash games and interactive pieces. that kind of got lost with YouTube. Like you could see the one creator, but you didn't see the collaborative aspect as much.
Exactly, because then it's like, oh, who did this? Oh, I can go there, and also it just felt like it felt like the voice actors and like the video game creators were like friends, like they actually liked each other and were like passionate about the project. It wasn't just like a soulless like, oh yeah, like I hired this person, like whatever. It's like, no, this person was like loved being a part of this project. No, I'm not saying that doesn't exist anymore. Of course it does. Like y'all are here, like, but
yeah, you would see their work though. You could click on the artist and see the other things they've done, and see what the other creatives that they've dovetailed with, and be like, "Whoa, that was a cool collaboration." And
yeah, the interface of it was so much easier to see, like how things were put together, and gave you a greater appreciation of like the production of a game.
Do you guys think Itch.io is carrying that torch to some extent? She's making a weird face. No, not really.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a site where it's like YouTube for games. People can upload their games.
Itch.io, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. Oh, I've just never heard it said out loud. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I didn't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I used to say just itch, but all my students were saying Itch.io, so I started saying Itch.io.
It's not. Yeah.
I don't know what's correct.
Newgrounds is really special.
But at least you can like credit people and then see their pages and then see other things that they've uploaded, which is kind of cool. But it's definitely not the same kind of. It's not the same, I guess, amount of community. Like, it's in more of a niche, whereas Flash was pretty mainstream.
Newgrounds, everything by everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that and it gave me all the nostalgia feels because I'm like, oh, it really is though. Like.
Yeah. What's a happy note we could leave on? Do we?
I mean, it's okay to be sad.
Yeah, one, it's okay to be sad. I think the Internet Archive is pretty hopeful.
Yeah.
They do seem to have salvaged like a ton of stuff.
Text Files just posted. There's Garfield.fandom.com, which has all the games for you.
Awesome.
They saved them, you guys.
That's good. That's positive. I was worried we were going to this dystopic Facebook.
Next live stream, I'm straight up just doing Build-A-Bear games. Fuck all this horror shit I've been doing. Like, let's fuck all the horror, the puzzle games. We're doing Build-A-Bear, son.
Yeah. I will also. No, go ahead. Yeah.
Oh, I guess I could play out to this game that I was going to play, the Squares game. That the Gavin guy, he dropped out.
Yeah.
Nice.
You want to play us out? We can.
Yeah, I'll say the last thing before you play us out. Also, it doesn't have to just be Itch.io as the future. If you want to see more games that are rough around the edges or cool and interesting, there's always Glorious Trainwrecks. So we should check out games on there too. And other corners of the internet. GloriousTrainwrecks.com.
Yeah,
GloriousTrainwrecks.com.
Yeah. That's a place where it's still weird, like in a good way.
Okay, into it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that down actually.
All right, I'm gonna play this one game that we're gonna demo, and I'm gonna play once, and we'll see how far we can get. It's called Squares 2, the sequel to Squares, and I like this game because it's a minimal Flash game that's all about mouse and avoidance. So in Squares, you play as the block here, and you gotta avoid touching the red squares. And we'll just see how far I can get without getting hit.
Are you also trying to collect the black squares?
Only the black squares, yeah. So the red ones, if I touch one red, we are out. It's game over. But this is just like all the basic Flash stuff. And then it also it's got a great soundtrack. And it uses your mouse. Like the mouse control was like a totally new thing. Sorry, it's got slow mo. But like this style of gameplay is like all over in mobile. And I feel like the whole Flash era was just like people coming up with all these great prototypes and just like learning all these new ways to play. I'm out. 24 squares, but yeah, if you're looking for a nice little action game, there you go.
Awesome.
That would hurt my brain.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. It's been a fun evening.
Thanks for having me.
We still got one more month of Flash left, I guess. But
yeah, the most of it.
It looks like there's hope with Flashpoint and the Internet Archive, where maybe we can say hello to Flash again in a year.
So put away your Switches, put away your PS5s, open your browser, play some Flash games.
There's a question in the Twitch chat. What is the next game of the month?
You decide, right? Or maybe I don't know.
Whatever you want it to be.
Yeah, January Game of the Month Club. Well, I know some years that there isn't any Game of the Month for January, but I guess we'll see whatever you want to do.
Yeah, post suggestions on Facebook or Discord, and we're not really going anywhere for break, sadly. So maybe January we'll have a Game of the Month Club.
Oh yeah, Discord, like the general Baby Castles Discord. I can post that in Twitch.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking on the channel, but yeah.
Just someone was asking for the link. So I was gonna grab that. Cool. But yeah, appreciate everyone coming by. That's what we got. We'll see what 2021 holds.
Yeah. Thank you.
See you guys later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.